rejected, 25 were approved. Out of the 25 that were approved, 2 were no votes, that leaves 23. 22 were for Mr. Horn, and 1 was for Mr. Flores.
What do you mean by a no vote? Nobody voted on that particular
Nobody
election?
voted for Ward 2,
On the second article.
so only 23 votes, but that's how the tally accounts for the reconciliation. So it reconciles with what the board has done, and I don't dispute those numbers. The second set of documents from the board will be voter registration records, and principally most of them are going to pertain to those individuals who voted provisionally that were obtained from the Board of Elections. These were not part of the so-called election documents because they didn't use them in the election. These are normal records they keep in their ordinary course of business. People register, people change address. These are things that they accumulate. So you go to the board and ask for Gerald Phillips, who lives on 461 Windward Way, and they'll give you a complete history of my voter records. You know, change when I lived on 359, 55 Detroit, how often I voted, and all that information. So that's going to be an important, critical piece of information that will be presented. But when it's all said and done, we believe that we can prove that enough folks voted for Mr. Horn, should have been disallowed, and once the recalculation is done, that Mr. Flores will be declared the winner.
The contester is asking this court to disqualify votes from an election, and that's a very serious request of a court to take away someone's right to vote. Obviously, they're going to argue there's reasons to do that, but the contestant would argue, due to the seriousness of this request, there has to be substantial evidence to convince you that vote should not be cast. So this level of evidence required is basically one step, the next level after beyond a reasonable doubt that would be applied in criminal cases. That's a very, very high standard. So in this case, you might be presented with evidence of where someone lived in January, February, March. Maybe that'd be helpful to the court, but will it make it clear in your mind where that person resided and consider their residence on the day they voted? Similarly, you might be presented with evidence that the contestor has gathered in the last month or two. Again, these people didn't have to live there a month before or a month after, even a day